Hi coloring friends and welcome back to my channel. Today I have episode 3 of Coloring Outside the Book. Now that is the series that I have that is going over different ideas of ways that you can use your coloring hobby outside of just sitting down and coloring in one of your coloring books. So today I'm super excited about this one because we are going to be doing coloring cookies or really any baked good this would work on, I think. As long as it's something that has icing on top, I think this would work perfectly. So I have here the supplies that we're going to be working with today. I have some edible zero grade wafer paper. I have some edible ink black markers. They're dual tips, so there's a brush and a fine liner tip that we'll be using. And then I have a pack here of edible food coloring pens, and these are also a dual tip. So I'm going to go ahead and get this all cleared off, and I will make sure to have all of these linked in the description box in case anybody is interested in purchasing these for themselves. So let's go ahead and clear this and we will get started. Okay, so before we really get into the actual coloring portion of this, I just wanted to discuss the options that you have when you are doing this kind of a project. So what we are going to be doing is to get our image on the wafer paper and make it so that it is food safe, we're going to be taking it and laying it over a design that we like in our one of our coloring books, tracing out that design and then coloring it in once we're finished. So, in doing that, the sky's the limit here. It certainly doesn't have to be anything Christmas, for one thing. It could be any holiday, it could be any celebration. You could do a bunch of balloons and have birthday cookies that you color. You could do something baby related for a baby shower. You could do Valentine's with different pictures from a Valentine coloring book. So, and I just wanted to give some examples here. I have Johanna's Christmas by Johanna Basford, and so she has lots of individual little images here that so I could choose just this present and I could lay my paper over and just trace out that present and then that would be the design on my cookie. Or I could choose just the little train in her book here and just trace that and put that on my image to color. So you could really pick any small image. If I guess if you're doing a large enough baked good or cookie, you could choose a larger image, but just an image that's going to fit on whatever you are going to be putting it on. So today I am going to pick one out of this Cutesy Christmas Special by Coloring Heaven. This was the magazine they came out with last Christmas. And there are quite a few pages in here. I've been working on a daily Christmas Advent coloring, and any of the ones in these squares would work great for that. And I think I'm going to choose one from this Advent page that I haven't colored at all, because there's a lot of good designs on this that would work great for this as well. So let me go ahead and get that all set up, and then we will get going with the tracing. All right, so I have decided that I am going to do this little guy here, this little snowman. He's going to be the decoration on the top of one of my cookies. So I have my wafer paper and I'm just laying it down on top. And then I have my edible ink marker and I'm using the fine tip side of that to trace here. So I'm just going to get going with tracing right over top of this guy here. And it's nice because the lines shine very clearly right through this paper. So it's fairly easy to do. I really wanted to get this idea out before Christmas, but I know I'm to the point where Christmas is here and in just a day or two, and I am sorry that it is so close to it that it's not possible to get these supplies and join in and do this for Christmas, but I did want to, just highlight the fact that this is not something that is Christmas exclusive by any means. The nice thing about this idea, and I mean, I think all of the ideas really, is that you can adapt it to whatever you need it to be. So, like I said, I think it would be a lot of fun to have this paper out and do something like this for a party and especially with kids, if you are having kids over, let them all, you know, either trace or draw their own designs on the paper, and then they can sit and color them, and then you can have cookies all ready to go and they could ice them. And yeah, I think that would be really fun for a party idea. And this doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. It's kind of do the best you can. Now this wafer paper has a bumpier side and a smoother side. And I am not sure if this is correct, but I am using the smoother side to do the drawing and coloring. The bumpy side is facing down, because I knew that would be extremely hard to color on. I don't think the idea would work very well on the bumpy side, so we are on the smooth side here. I'm just going to go ahead and fill in the buttons right now because they're going to be black. And we are almost all traced. Now the broom, I know there's a lot of detail with the bristles of the broom there, but I think I'm going to keep it fairly simple. I'll do a little bit of them, but I probably won't include all those little lines that she has, the artist. And that reminds me, I hadn't mentioned yet, but the artist for this page is, and hopefully I don't completely butcher it, but it looks like Rosary Sawana Mama. Now, hopefully that is pronounced correctly. But yeah, she has the cutest little Christmas pictures, and I've really been enjoying coloring her the other advent calendar that's in this Coloring Heaven special. That's been a lot of fun to fill in this month, so I very much appreciate her artwork, and I've been enjoying it. All right, so we're just going to curve around and get his body. There we go. Come around this way and get this side. There we go. All right, and there he is, our little snowman. And actually, I feel like he needs a little poof on top of his hat, so we'll just add that ourselves there. Okay, so now he is all ready to be colored. So I am going to go ahead and put my black one away. And then it's time for the fun part. We are going to get out our rainbow colors here. And I'm going to decide what colors I want to make my snowman. So here we go. And let's see. Now, obviously, this coloring is just, straight marker coloring. There's not going to be a lot of opportunity for shading or anything. But sometimes that's a lot of fun to do, is just to fill in with color. Now, these are also dual end, so there is a thicker end and a finer end, and it is a brush tip on the one side, and then the other side is like a fine liner tip. And they are all edible ink as well. So, although actually, I do not think that once I place it on the cookie that I'm going to be chomping down into this paper. I think that it will be nice to decorate the cookie while it's sitting out, and then when I actually go to eat it, I will probably just peel off the coloring and enjoy the cookie without it. But I don't know. I guess that's a personal preference. But I have to say, these markers, I did a test run on a different another image, and these markers impress me so much. I cannot believe, I mean, the paper it's fairly smooth, but it has a roughness to it, and I really expected that once I started coloring, it would chew up these brush nibs, and it really didn't. I mean, they held up amazingly. I was super impressed. I colored in a whole image, and the point is just like brand new, even when I'm finished. So, very, very impressed with these. I would highly recommend them. I almost wish, I don't know, maybe this company does make regular brush markers too, but I would buy them just to use on regular paper. All right, let's see. I think trying to decide if I want to go with, you know what? It is just a few days before Christmas, and I am starting to get kind of Christmas colored out. So I think I am going to choose something other than red and green for this guy. So just to mix it up a little bit. So we're going to give him a blue hat. Go. Just fill that in. Now I'm not pressing super hard. I'm really using the brush point and just brushing it over the paper, because I did notice if you oversaturate the paper, it does crinkle up quite a bit. It gets almost bubbly. So try to just very lightly brush the color on so I'm not disturbing the paper too much. Now, some of that happens anyway, and what I did with the image that I colored before was I just laid it under some heavy books and let it kind of flatten out, and it did kind of flatten it back out a bit again, so no problems there. But just, you don't want to go too crazy with the marker, because I think it would eventually tear a hole right through or melt a hole, I guess, right through the wafer paper. So, and the other thing I wanted to mention with this is I noticed too, I was very worried when I was testing this idea that the original black that I used to trace the image would smear and melt and, sort of reactivate with the marker. And it doesn't. It stays put. I mean, I'm not trying to, color over it, but it happens. You color over it a little bit, and there's a little bit of bleed over too, but you can still see those lines even after you've colored. It's not like they dissolve into the color you're adding and disappear. So that's kind of nice too, that when you use that black to trace, that it stays put. There we go, a nice purple scarf for him. Or her. Them. Just fill that in real quick, and I think may do, just because otherwise he doesn't have a whole lot of color to him. And that's the whole point of this, is to add color. I think I'm going to make that broom top yellow, just so there's a little more color going on. There we go. Yeah, I'm actually excited to sit down and do some of these with my daughter. Actually, all three of my kids, but my youngest is my most artistic and she gets into this stuff. So I'm excited to sit down and color some with her and let her kind of go to town with the markers and the paper, and we're going to decorate Christmas cookies that way. So something a little different. All right, there he is. He or she, they, there they are. They have all their color. And I'm going to go ahead and cut them out. And so what I used for that is just a regular pair of scissors. Now, since this is going on food, you will want to make sure that your scissors are cleaned and sanitized before you start, cutting on your paper. So I did wash my scissors and make sure they were clean before I did this. And like I said, it's not that I'm anticipating sitting down and chomping up this image. I think it's just going to be more of a decorative thing and a fun activity, and then, when it's time to eat the cookie, they can come off and be gotten rid of. So there they are, and I will put this right on top of an iced cookie. I'm going to work on coloring a few more of them, and then I will be sure to share my plate of finished colored cookies at the end of this video. So let me get my cookies all together and decorated, and then I will be back to share. And here we are, back with our finished product. And I am so happy with how these turned out. I think they're so cute. I did take some time to do a few of them with my daughter, so I showed her how to trace them and then do her own coloring. And she sat down and did two of her own here. And then these are some of the ones that I worked on. And I really love it. I just iced some gingerbread cookies that I made with icing just from a container from the store. And then just press the designs down into it. And I think it's so cool. Now, like I said, I think when I eat one, I will probably peel the paper off and then eat it. However, my daughter could not resist trying a little piece of the paper, and according to her, the paper tastes like rice. It is delicious, and she fully intends on eating the whole thing, including the paper. So that is definitely her prerogative, and that is okay. But anyway, we definitely enjoyed our time working on these, and I hope you enjoyed seeing the idea. I hope you get some time to try it out yourself. I will definitely have the things I used to make this linked in the description below. And I hope everyone has a fun and healthy and happy holiday season and time together. So Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you join me again for the next one. Bye!